In the annals of horological history, few timepieces command as much reverence and fascination as the world's first minute repeating wristwatch. Created in 1892 by Louis Brandt and Fils, the company that would later become Omega, this extraordinary timepiece represents a pivotal moment in watchmaking evolution. This diminutive masterpiece not only bridged the gap between pocket watches and modern wristwatches, but also demonstrated the remarkable technical prowess of 19th century watchmakers who dared to miniaturize one of horology's most complex complications. The minute repeater, considered one of the grandest complications in mechanical timekeeping, transforms the visual indication of time into an audible symphony of chimes. When activated, these extraordinary mechanisms sound the hours, quarter hours, and minutes on demand using a sophisticated system of hammers, gongs, and precisely calibrated springs. The creation of such a mechanism in wristwatch form represented an unprecedented technical achievement that would influence luxury watchmaking for generations to come. Historical context in the dawn of the wristwatch era. To fully appreciate the significance of the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater, one must understand the horological landscape of the late 19th century. The 1890s marked a transitional period in personal timekeeping, when the dominance of pocket watches was beginning to face challenges from emerging wristwatch designs. While timepieces worn on the wrist had existed in rudimentary forms since the early 1800s, notably Abraham Louis Breguet's creation for the Queen of Naples in 1810, these were largely considered feminine jewelry pieces rather than serious timekeeping instruments. The Industrial Revolution had brought unprecedented precision to watchmaking, with Swiss manufacturers leading the charge in both technical innovation and production efficiency. The Brandt brothers and César had inherited their father's watchmaking business in 1879 and were already establishing themselves as forward-thinking entrepreneurs who combined traditional craftsmanship with modern manufacturing techniques. During this era, pocket watches reigned supreme in men's fashion and professional life. These timepieces had reached extraordinary levels of sophistication, with complications ranging from simple calendar displays to astronomical indications and, of course, repeating mechanisms. The challenge facing innovative watchmakers like the Brandt brothers was not merely creating a smaller version of existing pocket watch movements, but rather reimagining the entire concept of how a complex timepiece could function within the constraints of wrist-worn dimensions. The social and practical pressures driving the development of wristwatches were multifaceted. Military applications were beginning to demonstrate the utility of hands-free timekeeping, though widespread military adoption of wristwatches wouldn't occur until the early 20th century. Additionally, changing lifestyle patterns, increased industrialization, and the growing importance of precise time coordination in business and transportation were creating demand for more convenient timekeeping solutions. The visionary behind the innovation, Louis Brandt and Fils Louis Brandt, the patriarch of what would become one of Switzerland's most celebrated watch manufacturers, established his workshop in La Chaux-de-Fonds in 1848. His approach to watchmaking was revolutionary for its time, eschewing the traditional system of independent craftsmen scattered across the Jura Mountains in favor of a centralized manufacturing operation that could maintain consistent quality standards while achieving greater production efficiency. When Louis Brandt passed away in 1879, his sons Louis, Paul, and César inherited not only their father's business but also his innovative spirit and commitment to horological excellence. The brothers proved to be visionary leaders who understood that the future of watchmaking lay not just in preserving traditional craftsmanship, but in pushing the boundaries of what was technically possible within the constraints of miniaturized mechanics. The Brandt brothers' decision to attempt the creation of a minute-repeating wristwatch was audacious for several reasons. First, the technical challenges of miniaturization were immense, fitting the complex gear trains, spring systems, and striking mechanisms of a minute repeater into a case suitable for wrist wear required unprecedented precision and innovation. Second, the market demand for such a piece was largely unproven, as wristwatches were still viewed with skepticism by many potential customers who questioned their durability and accuracy compared to established pocket watch designs. The brothers' workshop had already gained recognition for the quality of their movements and their willingness to experiment with new designs. Their previous work on the Labrador movement had demonstrated their technical capabilities and established their reputation among collectors and connoisseurs. This success provided both the confidence and the resources necessary to undertake the ambitious project of creating the world's first minute-repeating wristwatch. The technical marvel, understanding minute repeater mechanisms to appreciate the extraordinary achievement represented by the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater. One must first understand the intricate mechanics that enable these timepieces to chime the time on demand. A minute repeater is far more than simply a watch with a bell. It represents one of the most complex and refined examples of mechanical engineering ever created. The fundamental principle of a minute repeater involves translating the angular positions of the hour and minute hands into a sequence of audible chimes. This translation occurs through a sophisticated system of cams, levers, and springs that read the current time and determine the appropriate chiming sequence. When the repeater is activated, typically by sliding a small lever or pushing a button, the mechanism springs into action with a carefully orchestrated sequence of mechanical events. The chiming system itself consists of several key components. Steel hammers precisely shaped and positioned strike against tuned gongs, typically made of steel wire bent in specific configurations around the movement's perimeter. The tonal quality of these chimes depends not only on the materials used but also on the exact positioning, tension, and striking force of each hammer against its corresponding gong. The traditional minute repeater chiming sequence follows a standardized pattern that allows the listener to determine the exact time purely by sound. Hours are indicated by deep, resonant chimes on a low-pitched gong. Quarter hours are signaled by a distinct double chime, one strike on the low gong followed immediately by a strike on a higher pitch gong, creating a characteristic ting-tang, and finally individual minutes past the quarter hour are indicated by single strikes on the high gong. For example, if the time is 20:47, the minute repeater would chime as follows: 2 deep strikes for the hours, 3 double ting-tang chimes for the 3/4 hours, 45 minutes, and 2 high chimes for the additional 2 minutes, totaling 2 hours and 47 minutes. This system allows for completely accurate time indication purely through audible cues. The mechanical complexity required to achieve this seemingly simple result is staggering. The movement must include specialized cam wheels shaped to provide the correct information about hours and minutes, a complex gear train to translate the mainspring's power to the striking mechanism, and a centrifugal governor to regulate the speed of chiming and prevent the rapid succession of strikes from becoming an indistinct blur of sound. Collaboration with Audemars Piguet, a partnership of excellence. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater lies in its collaborative origins. While the Brandt brothers conceived, cased, and marketed this groundbreaking timepiece, the movement itself was manufactured by Audemars Piguet, already renowned for their expertise in complex complications. This collaboration represents an early example of the specialization that would later become common in the Swiss watch industry. Audemars Piguet, founded in 1875 by Jules Louis Audemars and Edward Auguste Piguet, had quickly established themselves as masters of complicated watchmaking. Their workshop in Le Brassus, located in the Vallée de Joux, had become synonymous with the highest levels of horological artistry and technical innovation. The company's expertise in creating minute repeaters for pocket watches made them the ideal partners for the ambitious project of miniaturizing such mechanisms for wristwatch use. The movement created for the Louis Brandt minute repeater bears the serial number 2416 and represents L.A. Pine lever escapement caliber. The L.A. Pine style, named after the 18th century watchmaker Jean-Antoine Pine, features an open dial layout that allows for thinner movement construction, a crucial consideration when attempting to create a wristwatch-size minute repeater. The lever escapement, which had become the standard for precision timekeeping by the late 19th century, provided the reliable regulation necessary for both accurate timekeeping and precise control of the repeating mechanism. This collaboration between Louis Brandt and Fils and Audemars Piguet demonstrates the interconnected nature of Swiss watchmaking excellence. Rather than viewing each other as competitors, these manufacturers recognized that their combined expertise could achieve results that neither could accomplish alone. The Brandt brothers brought their vision of wristwatch design and their understanding of market demands, while Audemars Piguet contributed their unparalleled technical expertise in complex movement construction. The success of this partnership would influence future developments in both companies' histories. For Audemars Piguet, it represented their first foray into minute repeater movements specifically designed for wristwatch applications, expertise that would later inform their own wristwatch developments. For the Brandt brothers, it provided access to movement, making capabilities that would have been prohibitively expensive to develop in-house, allowing them to focus on their strengths in case design, marketing, and customer relations. Design and construction details. The physical characteristics of the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater reveal fascinating insights into the transitional nature of wristwatch design during this pioneering period. Measuring approximately 35 inches, the watch occupies a middle ground between the generous proportions of contemporary pocket watches and the more compact dimensions that would later become standard for wristwatches. The case, crafted from 18-karat gold, demonstrates the luxury positioning intended for this groundbreaking timepiece. The choice of red golds, an alloy with higher copper content, not only provided visual warmth and richness but also offered superior durability compared to higher karat gold alloys that might have been too soft for regular wear. The case construction reflects the challenges faced by early wristwatch designers who needed to create structures robust enough to withstand the movements and impacts associated with wrist wear while maintaining the elegance expected from a luxury timepiece. Perhaps most revealing of the watch's transitional nature is its attachment system. Rather than the integrated lugs that would later become standard for wristwatches, the Lewis Brandt minute repeater employs a design clearly derived from pocket watch conventions. The watch features an oversized bow at the 12 o'clock position, enlarged specifically to accommodate one half of a leather strap, and a single lug attached at the bottom of the case for the strap's other half. This asymmetrical attachment system, while functional, clearly indicates the experimental nature of wristwatch design during this period. The dial design reflects both the technical requirements of the minute repeater mechanism and the aesthetic preferences of the 1890s. The layout must accommodate not only the traditional hour and minute hands, but also provide visual cues about the watch's special capabilities. The presence of the minute repeater complication would typically be indicated through subtle design elements that informed knowledgeable observers about the watch's exceptional nature without overwhelming the dial's readability. The case construction required special consideration for the acoustic properties essential to minute repeater function. The gongs, typically arranged around the movement's perimeter, needed adequate space to vibrate freely while remaining properly tensioned for optimal tonal quality. The case design had to balance the competing demands of structural integrity, acoustic performance, and wearable proportions, a challenge that pushed the boundaries of contemporary case-making expertise. The crown and repeater activation mechanism represent another area where traditional pocket watch elements required adaptation for wrist wear. The repeater slide, typically located on the case edge, needed to remain easily accessible to the wearer while not interfering with comfortable wrist positioning. These seemingly minor design challenges required innovative solutions that would inform wristwatch design principles for decades to come. The acoustic achievement, sound quality and tonal characteristics. One of the most remarkable aspects of the 1892 Lewis Brandt minute repeater lies in its acoustic performance, which remains impressive even by contemporary standards. Visitors to the Omega Museum in Biel, Switzerland, where this historic timepiece is preserved, consistently report amazement at the clarity and richness of the chimes produced by this 130-year-old mechanism. The acoustic design of a minute repeater requires extraordinary precision in multiple interconnected systems. The gongs themselves must be manufactured to exacting specifications, with their material composition, cross-sectional dimensions, and mounting tension all contributing to the final tonal quality. The steel wire used for these gongs undergoes careful selection and treatment to achieve the desired acoustic properties while maintaining the structural integrity necessary for decades of reliable operation. The hammers that strike these gongs represent another critical element in the acoustic chain. Their shape, weight, and striking surface characteristics all influence the quality and character of the chimes produced. Too light and the strikes lack authority and volume; too heavy, and they may damage the delicate gongs or produce harsh, unmusical tones. The positioning of these hammers requires microscopic precision to ensure consistent striking force and optimal acoustic coupling with the gongs. The case itself functions as a resonating chamber, amplifying and shaping the sounds produced by the striking mechanism. The thickness of the case walls, the internal volume, and the materials used all contribute to the final acoustic signature. The 18-karat gold case of the Lewis Brandt minute repeater provides excellent acoustic properties, with sufficient density to support clear tone transmission while avoiding the damping effects that might result from overly thick construction. The centrifugal governor system that regulates the chiming speed plays a crucial role in acoustic quality. This mechanism ensures that individual chimes are separated by appropriate intervals, preventing the blurred succession of strikes that would render the time indication illegible to the listener. The governor's design requires careful calibration to maintain consistent timing across the full range of possible chime sequences, from a single-hour strike to the complex patterns required for times such as 2059. The preservation of acoustic quality over more than a century of existence speaks to both the original manufacturing excellence and the careful conservation efforts of subsequent owners. The fact that the chiming mechanism continues to produce beautiful quality sound today demonstrates the extraordinary durability built into these early complicated movements, as well as the effectiveness of the maintenance and restoration techniques applied over the decades. Technical innovations and manufacturing challenges. The creation of the world's first minute repeating wristwatch required innovative solutions to numerous technical challenges that had never before been addressed in horological history. The miniaturization of minute repeater mechanisms from pocket watch to wristwatch scale demanded advances in multiple areas of watchmaking expertise, from gear cutting to spring tempering to case construction. One of the most significant challenges involved maintaining adequate power for both the timekeeping function and the repeating mechanism within the constraints of a smaller mainspring. Pocket watch minute repeaters typically relied on substantial mainsprings that could store sufficient energy to drive both the going train and provide the additional power required for the striking mechanism's operation. Reducing the available spring volume while maintaining reliable operation required optimization of the entire gear train efficiency and careful management of power distribution between the timekeeping and striking functions. The gear trains themselves required unprecedented precision in their manufacture and assembly. The smaller scales involved in wristwatch construction meant that any imperfections in gear tooth profiles, pivoting surfaces, or assembly tolerances would be magnified in their effects on the movement's performance. The manufacturing techniques available in 1892, while advanced for their time, required extraordinary skill from the craftsmen involved in creating these diminutive mechanical systems. The development of suitable materials represented another area of innovation. Springs, gongs, and other critical components needed to perform reliably within the size constraints of wristwatch construction while maintaining the durability necessary for regular wear. The metallurgy of the period, while sophisticated, required careful selection and treatment of materials to achieve the desired combination of strength, elasticity, and acoustic properties. Temperature compensation presented unique challenges for wristwatch minute repeaters. Unlike pocket watches, which were typically carried in relatively stable thermal environments, wristwatches experienced significant temperature variations through direct contact with the wearer's body and exposure to environmental conditions. The expansion and contraction of metal components with temperature changes could affect both timekeeping accuracy and the precise mechanical relationships required for proper repeater function. The assembly process for such a complex mechanism required exceptional skill and patience from the craftsmen involved. The integration of the repeating complication with the base timekeeping movement demanded precise alignment of multiple interconnected systems, each with its own critical tolerances and adjustment requirements. The final regulation of both timekeeping rate and repeating function represented a masterpiece of mechanical fine-tuning that challenged the limits of contemporary measurement and adjustment techniques. Market reception and contemporary impact. The introduction of the world's first minute repeating wristwatch in 1892 occurred within a complex marketplace where traditional pocket watch dominance was just beginning to face challenges from emerging wristwatch designs. The reception of this groundbreaking timepiece provides fascinating insights into the evolving attitudes toward personal timekeeping and the acceptance of new technologies within conservative horological circles. Contemporary documentation suggests that the Louis Brandt minute repeater was received with a mixture of admiration for its technical achievement and skepticism about its practical utility. The traditional watchmaking establishment, rooted in centuries of pocket watch evolution, questioned whether the miniaturized mechanisms could maintain the reliability and accuracy expected from serious timekeeping instruments. This skepticism was not entirely unfounded, as the technical challenges of wristwatch construction were still being resolved through experimentation and iterative improvement. The price point of the minute repeater wristwatch positioned it firmly within the luxury market segment, making it accessible only to wealthy collectors and enthusiasts who could afford to experiment with novel horological concepts. This limited market penetration meant that the immediate commercial impact was relatively modest, though the prestige associated with creating such a technically advanced timepiece provided significant promotional value for the Louis Brandt and Fils brand. Professional horologists and technical experts of the period recognized the extraordinary achievement represented by the miniaturization of the minute repeater complication. Trade publications and technical journals documented the watch's specifications and operating principles, helping to establish technical precedents that would influence future developments in complicated wristwatch manufacturing. The success of the 1892 minute repeater helped legitimize the concept of sophisticated wristwatches within the broader horological community. By demonstrating that complex complications could be successfully adapted to wrist-worn formats, this pioneering timepiece helped pave the way for the broader acceptance of wristwatches that would accelerate dramatically in the following decades. The international recognition garnered by this achievement enhanced the reputation of Swiss watchmaking expertise and contributed to the country's growing dominance in luxury timepiece manufacture. The collaboration between Louis Brandt and Fils and Audemars Piguet also demonstrated the potential benefits of specialization and cooperation within the Swiss watch industry, principles that would become increasingly important as the industry evolved. Influence on subsequent developments. The success of the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater established important precedents that would influence influence wristwatch development for generations to come. The technical solutions developed for this pioneering timepiece informed subsequent efforts to adapt other complex complications to wristwatch format, accelerating the evolution of sophisticated wristwatches throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The collaboration model demonstrated by the partnership between Louis Brandt & Fils and Audemars Piguet became increasingly common within the Swiss watch industry. This approach allowed smaller manufacturers to offer complicated timepieces without the enormous investment required to develop such capabilities in-house, while enabling movement specialists to focus on their core competencies without the additional challenges of case design, marketing, and distribution. The design solutions developed for the Louis Brandt minute repeater informed subsequent wristwatch case construction techniques. The lessons learned about acoustic properties, structural integrity, and wearability influenced the development of cases for both simple and complicated wristwatches, contributing to the gradual evolution away from pocket watch-derived designs toward purpose-built wristwatch architectures. The success of this timepiece also demonstrated the viability of luxury wristwatches as a distinct market segment. Prior to 1892, wristwatches were largely viewed as feminine jewelry or military utility items, with serious timekeeping applications remaining the domain of pocket watches. The minute repeater wristwatch helped establish the concept of the luxury mechanical wristwatch as a legitimate category worthy of the finest horological artistry. Other manufacturers took note of the technical achievement and market reception of the Louis Brandt minute repeater, leading to increased investment in wristwatch development across the Swiss industry. Companies such as Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, and others began developing their own complicated wristwatches, contributing to a competitive environment that drove rapid innovation and improvement in wristwatch technology. The preservation and continued operation of the original 1892 minute repeater also established important precedents for horological conservation. The fact that this complex mechanism continues to function properly after more than 130 years demonstrates both the quality of original construction and the effectiveness of careful maintenance and restoration practices that have kept this historic timepiece in working condition. Technical evolution and modern perspective. From the perspective of contemporary horology, the 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater represents both a remarkable achievement and a fascinating glimpse into the evolutionary path that led to modern complicated wristwatches. The technical solutions developed for this pioneering timepiece established fundamental principles that continue to influence minute repeater design today, while also highlighting the extraordinary progress achieved in manufacturing precision, materials science, and acoustic engineering over the intervening decades. Modern minute repeaters benefit from significant advances in manufacturing technology that were unavailable to the creators of the 1892 Louis Brandt watch. Computer-controlled machinery enables the production of gear teeth and other critical components with tolerances measured in fractions of microns, far exceeding the precision achievable through the hand-operated equipment available in the 1890s. Similarly, advances in metallurgy have provided access to specialized alloys optimized for specific applications within complicated watch movements. Despite these technological advances, many of the fundamental design principles established by the 1892 minute repeater remain relevant to contemporary horological practice. The basic architecture of minute repeater mechanisms, the relationship between power storage and striking function, and the acoustic principles governing gong and hammer design all trace their lineage back to innovations developed during this pioneering period. The integration challenges addressed in the original Louis Brandt minute repeater continue to influence modern, complicated watch design. Contemporary horologists still grapple with questions of power distribution, thermal compensation, and mechanical reliability that were first systematically addressed in pioneering timepieces like the 1892 minute repeater. The solutions developed over a century ago continue to inform current practice, though implemented with far greater precision and reliability than was possible during the pioneering era. The acoustic achievements of the 1892 minute repeater provide valuable insights into the relationship between case design and sound quality that remain relevant to contemporary minute repeater development. Modern manufacturers continue to study historical examples like the Louis Brandt watch to understand the acoustic principles that contribute to superior chiming quality, often incorporating lessons learned from these early examples into current production designs. The conservation and continued operation of the original 1892 minute repeater also provides valuable data about long-term durability and maintenance requirements for complicated mechanical systems. The fact that this complex mechanism continues to operate reliably after more than 130 years offers important insights into design principles and construction techniques that promote exceptional longevity in mechanical timekeeping devices. Cultural and historical significance. Beyond its technical achievements, The world's first minute repeating wristwatch holds profound cultural and historical significance as a marker of changing social attitudes toward personal timekeeping and technological innovation. The 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater emerged during a period of rapid social and economic transformation that was reshaping the role of personal timepieces in daily life. The transition from pocket watch to wristwatch represented more than simply a change in wearing style. It reflected broader cultural shifts toward increased mobility, changing fashion preferences, and evolving concepts of masculine jewelry and accessories. The success of sophisticated wristwatches like the minute repeater helped legitimize this transition among traditional consumers who might otherwise have viewed wristwatches as inferior alternatives to established pocket watch designs. The international recognition achieved by the Louis Brandt minute repeater contributed to the growing reputation of Swiss watchmaking excellence that would become one of Switzerland's most important cultural and economic exports. The technical achievement represented by this timepiece helped establish Switzerland's position as the global center of luxury watchmaking, a status that continues to influence the country's economy and international reputation today. The preservation of the original 1892 minute repeater in the Omega Museum represents an important commitment to horological heritage and education. This historic timepiece serves not only as a testament to past achievement, but also as an inspiration for future generations of watchmakers and collectors who can study its design and construction to better understand the evolution of horological artistry. The continuing operation of this 130-year-old mechanism provides a tangible connection to the craftsmen and innovators who created it, allowing contemporary audiences to experience directly the sight and sound of this historic achievement. The ability to activate the repeating mechanism and hear the same chimes that were first produced in 1892 creates an immediate and powerful connection to horological history that no written description or photograph can fully capture. The influence of the 1892 minute repeater extends beyond purely horological circles to encompass broader discussions of technological innovation, craftsmanship, and the relationship between tradition and progress. This timepiece represents a perfect example of how traditional skills and innovative thinking can combine to achieve results that surpass what either approach might accomplish independently. Legacy and modern appreciation. The legacy of the world's first minute repeating wristwatch extends far beyond its immediate technical achievements to encompass broader influences on luxury watchmaking, collector appreciation, and public understanding of horological artistry. The 1892 Louis Brandt minute repeater established precedents and principles that continue to influence contemporary watchmaking while serving as an inspiration for both manufacturers and collectors who appreciate the highest levels of mechanical artistry. Contemporary luxury watchmakers frequently reference the pioneering achievements of timepieces like the 1892 minute repeater when developing new complicated wristwatches. The technical solutions and design principles established by this historic timepiece continue to inform current practice, though implemented with far greater manufacturing precision and material sophistication than was available during the pioneering era. The collector market for historic complicated wristwatches has been profoundly influenced by awareness of pioneering timepieces like the Louis Brandt minute repeater. The recognition that such early complicated wristwatches represent crucial evolutionary steps in horological development has contributed to increased appreciation and valuation of similar timepieces from the pioneering period of wristwatch development. Educational institutions and museums worldwide use the example of the 1892 minute repeater to illustrate principles of mechanical engineering, historical technology development, and the evolution of consumer products. The timepiece serves as an excellent case study in innovation, demonstrating how traditional techniques can be adapted to meet new requirements and market demands. The continuing public fascination with the 1892 minute repeater, as evidenced by the enthusiasm of visitors to the Omega Museum, demonstrates the enduring appeal of mechanical artistry and historical achievement. The ability to witness the operation of this historic mechanism provides a powerful reminder of human creativity and technical skill that resonates with audiences regardless of their specific interest in horology. Modern horological education programs frequently include study of historic achievements like the 1892 minute repeater to provide students with perspective on the evolution of their craft and the achievements of their predecessors. Understanding the challenges overcome by early pioneers helps contemporary watchmakers appreciate both the foundations of their art and the opportunities for future innovation. Conclusion: a timeless achievement. The creation of the world's first minute repeating wristwatch in 1892 represents one of horology's most significant achievements, combining technical innovation, artistic vision, and entrepreneurial courage in a single extraordinary timepiece. The collaboration between Louis Brandt and Fils and Audemars Piguet produced not merely a functional complication but a revolutionary concept that helped define the future direction of luxury watchmaking. This pioneering timepiece demonstrated that the most sophisticated horological complications could be successfully adapted adapted to wrist-worn format without sacrificing the precision, reliability, or acoustic quality expected from the finest mechanical timepieces. The technical solutions developed for this project established principles and precedents that continue to influence complicated watch design more than 130 years after its creation. The 1892 Louis Brandt Minute Repeater stands as testament to the vision and skill of its creators, who recognized the potential of wristwatch design when most of the horological world remained committed to traditional pocket watch concepts. Their willingness to experiment with new ideas and push the boundaries of technical possibility helped establish the foundation upon which the modern luxury watch industry continues to build. The preservation and continued operation of this historic timepiece ensures that future generations will be able to experience directly the achievement of these horological pioneers. The clear, musical chimes that continue to sound from this 130-year-old mechanism provide an immediate and powerful connection to the artistry and innovation that created one of watchmaking's most significant milestones. The legacy of the world's first minute repeating wristwatch extends far beyond its immediate technical achievements to encompass broader influences on innovation, craftsmanship, and the appreciation of mechanical artistry. This extraordinary timepiece continues to inspire contemporary horologists, collectors, and enthusiasts who recognize in its creation a perfect synthesis of traditional skill and innovative thinking that defines the highest achievements of human craftsmanship. As we continue to advance into an increasingly digital age, the enduring fascination with mechanical timepieces like the 1892 Louis Brandt Minute Repeater reminds us of the irreplaceable value of human creativity, technical skill, and artistic vision. This pioneering achievement stands as a permanent monument to the ingenuity and dedication of the craftsmen who dared to dream of new possibilities and possessed the skill to transform those dreams into mechanical reality. The world's first minute repeating wristwatch remains, after more than a century, not just a historic curiosity but a living testament to the enduring power of human innovation and the timeless appeal of mechanical perfection. In its continuing operation, we hear not merely the chimes marking time's passage, but the echo of human achievement that transcends the boundaries of any single era or generation.